A couple of weeks ago, my two flatmates and I decided to go camping. We've been wanting to do this ever since we moved in together about 2 years ago, but just somehow never got around doing it. So on a sunny Saturday, we met up at Max's parents' house to have some lunch before packing our car with way too much stuff to head off to Entlebuch, which lies in central Switzerland close to Lucerne. There we met up with Ian, our, you could say, local guide for that trip. After packing up some more stuff into the car, we headed up to the parking lot, which was at the bottom of our hike. All of us really wanted to try a microdose of some good old Capri Sonne. So before we started our ascent up the path, we all took a little sip of that golden juice. Stoked to see what nature had to offer us, we headed up the trail. The first part of the trail took us up a short stretch of forest. The colors were really bright and vibrant, especially this year because we experienced so much rain at the beginning of the summer. So the forest looked super healthy and offered us a really wide variety of biodiversity. On top of its beauty, it also gave us a bit of shade, but even in the shade I was sweating like crazy. Since the first part of the hike was really steep, our heart rate was constantly at a really high rate, which definitely helped the onset of the effects from the Capri Sonne. It only took us about 20 minutes and we could feel some sort of come up. The colors got brighter and started to pop, my smile got bigger, and I'm pretty sure my backpack seemed to always get lighter. Usually on hikes or camping trips, I choose the location and act somewhat as a guide. This time I didn't have to organize anything, which was really nice. Ian, our local guide, took us through the forest and across the limestone pavements. We walked along the cars for a while until we got to an entrance of a cave. There was ice cold wind blowing out of the cave. It was such a bliss, especially because we were sweating like crazy and I'm pretty sure we were close to overheating. There was a narrow path that took us through the cave. We walked through there and just took in the insane scenery inside the cave. In there we took a couple of moments of silence. That was also the moment where Ian slowly started to realize that extra little zip of Capri Sonne that he took. We had a good laugh, and after we cooled down, we continued our ascent. It took us about another 1.5 hours to get to our camping spot. I'm pretty sure we could have managed it in half an hour, but we were kind of distracted by everything that kind of remotely looked beautiful in nature. The hike was totally worth it. The views were amazing and the temperature was really nice. And our mood was pretty sky high. Settled in a bit, got comfy, and simply just took in our surrounding. At that point I was super stoked about just taking some pictures and just randomly walking around while the others were doing whatever they were doing. All sat by the cliff and just looked into the distance where the sun was setting. quality Swiss herbs definitely amplified the effects of the Capri Sonne. We then started to cook dinner, which was a really lengthy process because nobody somehow was able to initiate the process. We were all literally just standing in a circle, waiting until the first person would actually initiate the cooking. As soon as we got something warm in our stomach, we settled down and just looked into the stars. The next morning I got up to see the sunrise alone. The others were still fast asleep and I thought I'd leave them. The previous day was pretty eventful, so it was kind of nice to have a couple of hours alone to relax and regenerate and kind of sort out all the emotions that were felt. Slowly but surely the others started to wake up as well. We ate some breakfast and started to pack our stuff. After getting into the car, Ian suggested to have a dip in the river that was close by. So somewhat hungover from the previous day, we drove to the river and had a cold dip in the water. And that's pretty much it. Obviously there was way more that happened, but I didn't feel like it was that eventful to make an hour-long video about it. I hope you enjoyed this little recap of our Capri Sonne camping trip.
Bro, der wächst doch an, ja.
Also, wo ist der Fabsi? Ja, ist mein Fass.
Hast du das eins gesteckt zum Lüden? Hat's gesteckt?
Beluga, Alter! Beluga!
Ja,